Better. Hell yeah.
You're just
What's up,
every
everybody?
episode.
Every episode, fucking Bad Milo, just ass
monster forever.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to SHOPcast, episode 90. We have maybe the worst movie that we've ever watched on this show. Think about that. 90 movies randomly picked. Actually, way more than 90 because at the beginning we were all three picking movies.
Oh,
we
were doing three
episodes.
movies. We were doing 4 movies for a while, and then 3, and then we went to 1.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know how we were doing that.
Because we were fucking sadomasochists, dude. I don't know what we were doing.
And it was like in the middle of COVID. I think we all kind of had.
We had some extra time. Yeah, we had a little extra time. Even then, even in the middle of COVID, nothing to do, we were still stressed about the time. That's a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we watched Bad Milo, unfortunately. This was my pick. I haven't picked one that I was this disappointed in. I don't think ever, man. Like this was rough, man. It is what it is, man. I did do a gore score for it. So we'll go over that here in a little bit. Even the gore score was fucking awful. So the thing is that I remembered this movie being a lot more like kooky and violent. Like I remembered like the charm of it was that there was like some over the top violence. So I don't know. I watched it on HBO. I have a Blu-ray of it, but I've only watched it the one time, and it's been a few years. So I don't know if I was just getting it confused with something else, which is probably the case, I would imagine. What's up, JJ? How goes it? You know, it is what it is, dude. Let's talk some shit about a movie. We don't get to do that very often. In all honesty, most of the time, none of us want to really shit on a movie because it's something that we love. So, you know, taking a dump on a movie isn't something we usually just sit there and go, this is going to be fun. It's usually something we dread doing, but I think this one earned it.
Yeah, normally at least one of us likes something.
Yeah, at least most movies, even when they're bad, one of us is into it. It's either some kind of weird sci-fi shit Chris likes, some just atrocious shot on video thing that I enjoyed, or something a little more artfully done that Josh is into. And I think all three of us are just really regretting letting me pick this.
Whatever.
Man. It's got to pick a banger for episode 100 though. We can't mess that one up, man. That's got to be a good movie.
Okay.
I had an idea.
Well, because the way I was looking at it is that's 10 in a way, right? So we have Josh, Chris, me, and then episode 100. So on episode 100, we'll just pick a movie together that we all want to watch. I think that's probably the coolest idea. We're getting actually pretty close to episode 100, so I'm excited about that. So,
we had talked to one not too long ago, and that was going to be my idea, but I'll save it for off recording.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll dude, we may have talked about something that I just simply don't remember. That's, you know, very
not specifically about episode 100, but it was just going to be my idea for 100.
Okay.
So,
I'll float it later. So for anybody that's wondering what Bad Milo is, I'll give you your warning now. It's a movie. Okay, so the premise is actually pretty hilarious. Like the premise of the movie is funny. It's about a hell yeah, it is. It's an ass monster. Okay. Look at this guy. Look at the creature. It's an ass monster. How is that? I mean, just that by itself, if you execute it right, is hilarious.
I mean, I'm a little bit offended because you picked this movie knowing full well that I don't even think farts are funny. So
I think you're growing into that, sir. I think you've matured enough to know that farts are funny.
You're wrong. You're wrong, but that's all right.
Well, it is what it is.
We're still friends.
Anyways, it's about a guy who's got like this stress, like ulcer in his stomach, right? And he's going to the doctor trying to figure out what's going on. He's having stomach problems. They find out it's not an ulcer, it's an ass monster. And this ass monster likes to shoot out of his ass, go kill people, and then go back into his ass. Where I find it funny is where he goes back into the ass. I mean, it's just silliness, right? And my memory of it was like, oh yeah, it was kind of a funny movie, pretty bad, but really violent. And I just must remember something completely different because when I watched it, it had like all these like gonna be hilarious things happen or gonna be cool and violent things happen, and they just missed the mark on all of it. Like none of it. I don't know what I was remembering, man. I was even surprised watching it that it wasn't more violent. So this is just a swing and a miss for these guys, man. It was from 2013. It's almost 10 years old. This movie was recommended to me a few years ago by my friend Trevor, and he was like ranting and raving about how great this movie was. So when I watched it the first time, I expected it to be a lot better than it was. So the fact that I wanted to watch it again because when I was doing research on Basket Case and Brain Damage, no joke, dude, this movie got referenced in like 3 different things that I read in comparison to those movies. And so, like, I guess it like tainted my memory or something because I was all pumped, dude. I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be ridiculous and silly and fun. And I don't know how anybody could put this movie in the same conversation as either of those. Like, not even in the same, like, I wouldn't even want this trailer to show before one of those showed at the theater. Like, not even the same. Like, I don't get it. Like, I got duped on this one, man, bad, because my memory of it was way different than the reality. And when I watched it, I was just bummed out. So I imagine you guys had a hell of a bad time watching this movie.
Yeah, I think it would have worked a little bit better if it was one made in the 80s and then just added a little gore to it.
Oh, this was made in the 80s. This would have been way better because it wouldn't have been made by somebody different.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been any worse than Basket Case or Brain Damage. I haven't seen Basket Case still.
Yeah, it was too bright. It wasn't as grimy as I was. I didn't remember it being grimy, but it wasn't like after watching those movies, I want something sleazy, and this was not. Yeah, this had everything was well lit. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah, it's not schlocky enough. It's just
not at all.
Yeah.
And it just has that more modern sense of like dry humor to it that I was just like, and every joke was just like the most obvious joke.
Yeah.
Correct. There was very little to be left to the imagination.
Yeah. It was just like every setup, I was like, okay, I know exactly what the punchline is. It's just like, okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah, it was almost like it was trying to take itself too serious, but still be
it was like they wanted to like make a funny movie that was kind of offensive, but they didn't actually want to offend anybody. That's what it felt like. They're like, let's make something that's really dirty and like toilet humory, but then when it came down to like really make it gross and nasty, because they had points where it could have been gross and nasty. I guarantee you, the stuff that was left on the floor after editing would have probably made this movie funnier because it was probably stuff that they deemed too offensive or something like that. Because there's a lot of parts that felt unfinished in the movie, and that's something I would never hardly ever say because I don't even catch stuff like that usually. Dude, there's a lot of things that felt unfinished to me.
Yeah, there's got to be some stuff on the cutting room floor. I mean, it's a very short movie. It's only like
that's the only redeeming quality of the whole fucking thing, man.
It is
that it was like at least I don't have to sit here for 3 hours watching this shit. Because, dude, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have finished it if it was much longer than it is. And I watched Neon Maniacs the other night, dude. If I can watch that, I can watch anything, man. Hell yeah, that movie's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I just watched Class of Nukem High and Toxic Avenger not too long ago.
This is easily worse than those movies.
I'd rather watch those 2 movies than this. By far. I didn't like Class of Nukem High. And
no, this one it was a premise that could have been raunchy and funny for a certain demographic. Like maybe Josh may not have liked it no matter what they did with it, but it could have easily fit the bill for somebody like me and probably even you, Chris. But like everything was just not quite, it was just a little too like clean and sanitized. Everything just felt like, well, we don't want to upset the women, so let's not make her do something crazy. Well, we don't want to make these people feel like that. And it had a lot of like borderline jokes they could have said that would have been, like I said, a little tasteless. But that's the point of comedy. You had, I don't know, man. The way that and it's the fact that this is 10 years old is kind of shocking. I would expect this movie to come out now, or a long time ago and been a better movie.
Yeah, I like everybody in the movie.
What up, G? Sorry.
Let's go. I like everybody in the movie. I like the Duplass brothers.
Weird, huh?
Julian Jacobs from Community and
this
guy's name? Ken Marino.
Ken Marino is funny. And the thing was, it also had Peter Stormare,
Johnny,
Stephen Root, Camille, Patrick Warburton is in this, dude. Like so many people were in this movie, and that's when before I watched it, I looked it up because I was looking at some stuff to do for artwork. I'm trying to do some new things on the channel if anybody can't tell. And I was seeing the cast. I got like kind of excited, dude. I wish I'd have watched it yesterday or the day before. I might have thrown something else y'all's way and be like, hey, just watch this instead because fuck, dude. Like I rarely have to say this, but that one sucked, dude. Like that movie was not good. Like even on, I don't know, man. I tried to write some stuff down to talk about. The only thing that I thought, the only thing that I thought was funny was when I first saw Milo on the screen again. I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. and I thought, it looks like a Funko Pop made out of silly putty.
It totally does.
That's exactly what it looks like. Got the same shape and big ass black eyes.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was very little to be desired in this movie. I don't really have much else to say about it. It was not a good movie. I'm gonna turn my fan on.
Okay. Yeah, there was one part that I actually did laugh out loud for.
There's a couple of things that I laughed about, but that didn't make the movie not a waste of my time.
Yeah, I had like a few chuckles, but
what parts did you find that were funny?
Was the biting the dude's dick off in the alley?
No.
Yeah,
he just like rips the dick off, and that was pretty funny.
The part I found funny was when he was spooning with that thing, because I was like, oh, like just the thought of that was so gross. Like it's covered in like fecal matter and juices, and he's just like,
yeah.
Josh is over here cringing and fucking bathing in sanitizer.
Yeah, so a lot of it was cringing. One, just because the humor was so bad and just.
Well, that's the thing is that they could have taken this really far and been like, okay, this is a gross movie, and I think that would have been better served, because this movie is going to end up in dollar bins. Whereas if it was that kind of movie, it could have at least ended up like a cult classic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the movies that dude, fucking Basket Case is so much more gross than this. And
definitely.
And it's not an ass monster. This is an ass monster that leaves butts and enters butts in the same movie. And it's not as gross as Basket Case. It doesn't make any sense. I was pretty disappointed. I'm glad, Chris, I didn't waste your time watching this one with me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I definitely see like the influence, but it is pretty poor in comparison. Yeah, I would rather watch Basket Case 10 times than watch this again.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is that knowing who made it, seeing the actors that were in it, I think everybody's deserving of a swing and a miss. Yeah. And I think that if they put out another movie, I would still pay to watch it. And if that one was bad, then I might not do another film by these guys, with these people, these writers, these directors and producers and everything. Mm-hmm. But everybody's entitled to a swing and a miss, man. I mean, I look back at some of the stuff I've worked the hardest on, and it's been pretty bad sometimes. So, I can say it's bad because I'm speaking objectively. It's not a good movie that way, but I didn't turn it off. This is going to piss off Josh, not intentionally, but I'm just using it as an example. Like, if you were to go, hey, what movie would you rather watch, Bad Milo or The Exorcist? I think 9 times out of 10, I'm picking Bad Milo. It's just a shorter movie. I don't like either movie. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean it's anywhere. It's not even the fucking, dirt under the fingernail of The Exorcist. I know that. I understand that. It wasn't an objective statement. Just that's the only thing I could think that's redeeming, is that it's short and I don't like them either one. I'd rather watch that. But I mean, even that's not a fucking shutout, because at least some of the time I'd rather watch a movie that I don't like that's much longer. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. if there's even a time that I want to watch something that's an hour longer that I like as little as I do this, that tells you how bad the movie is.
Yeah. I don't know how they got all the talent in this movie.
Yeah. It had to be a paycheck, because it had a lot of cool people in it.
Yeah, it's not like they showed them the script and was like, hey, you want to do this? And like, hell yeah.
I mean, this was like right at the height of the League, right? Wasn't the League still running? Like, Randy, you watched the League, right?
Love that show.
Yeah, awesome show. But I think it was still on around this time, or it just maybe ended.
I'm looking that up right now.
Okay. So I'm assuming that is probably what got them a lot of the people.
Well, do you know that? Have you seen? Let's see. Well, it ended. Yeah, the League ended the year before this came out, so it probably ended while this was filming.
Yeah,
and then it was on FXX for like 2 or 3 more years, so it was playing on TV for the whole time. That had to be, because the League is a very, very good TV show.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was really good.
But
even somebody that doesn't care about fantasy football, like
it
was funny.
That's how good that show is. That I actively dislike football, like in general. Yeah, and I thought that show was great. But it is what it is, man. The movie wasn't very good, and it is what it is.
I'm just surprised seeing people like Stephen Root, who I love. Yeah, I fucking love Stephen Root.
Well, that's what I was going to say a minute ago. Is I was looking at the cast, and I was like, oh yeah, and it was bringing like fondness and like an excitement to watching it. And I'm watching it, and I'm like,
Well,
huh.
I've been
Okay.
watching the new season of Barry, and Stephen Root's in that. I was like, oh, but he's in this movie. Maybe it'll be all right. It's like,
Barry's
no.
pretty good.
Dude, Barry's awesome. I love
So,
Barry.
one we didn't talk about with Peter Stormare.
Oh yeah, I mean, he does a lot of shit though.
He does.
I wrote him on my. So yeah, I'll talk about it when I get to the
He does some really good stuff, and I think he's been really good.
He's the one that plays the Tick, right?
The Tick?
No,
that's Patrick Warburton.
Yeah. Thank you, dude. There's so many character guys in this shit. I get them all mixed up.
Yeah, there's a lot of character actors.
Peter Stormare is
the therapist.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy from Constantine is where I first started really recognizing him.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely does play in some schlocky stuff. So it's not that shocking, but still, like, he was definitely one of the names that was like, okay, like this can't be that bad.
Right.
Wow, Trevor just said, I sent him a thing earlier saying, hey, we're going to be live talking about Bad Milo if you want to jump on the live. And he's like, yeah, we're having a rough time with the kiddo right now because he's got a new baby. And he's like, but that movie's rad, dude. I love Kid Marino. I'm like, how is that? Okay. I'm not going to argue with him. He's having a hard time with a baby that's not sleeping very well. So I'm going to let him off the hook on this one. But,
another thing I thought watching the movie, Ken Marino just feels like he's trying to do a bad Jason Bateman impression in this movie.
Dude,
yeah,
Jason Bateman would have been a much better choice for this movie.
Like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if this was Jason Bateman, it would be the exact same, except it would be way better.
Right? How weird is that? Because it would have been way better.
Yeah, it would have been way
Jason
better.
Bateman's great.
But he's doing the same thing in the movie. He's got this like really like dry, like sarcastic. He plays everything straight, but
you know what it is? Ken Marino seems like a pretty nice guy, and Jason Bateman is a believable asshole.
that's probably it.
Yeah.
Like I think Jason Bateman's probably just fine, but I could see a point where I would go, he's a prick. But with this other guy, I'm like, Ken Marino always seems to be happy and in a nice mood.
Right. Well, especially after stuff like Ozark, you're like, oh yeah, he's an asshole.
Dude, for real. For real.
Yeah.
So apparently that girl from Ozark, her hair's not curly like that very often. I didn't know that. I saw a picture of her and it didn't even look like the same person. Oh, yeah. I was like, whoa. Like, I mean, I've always thought she was attractive anyways, but she's looks completely different, like a whole different person. But
yeah.
Man, weird how all this stuff could anyhow. Dude, I don't really know what else to say. I'm going to go over the gore score in a minute, and we can move on to something else because this movie was not good. I don't want to keep harping on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Gore score time. This won't take very long. Special effects, I gave it an 8 because I thought they were pretty funny, and I liked the puppets, and I thought that's better than having it all digital. Yeah. The story, I gave it a 10. The execution, I gave it a 0. I don't know how to go with that, but the story, the idea behind it is great for me. I'm a child, though.
Okay.
The acting, I gave it a 5. The dialogue, I gave it a 5. The bad guy rating, I gave it a 10, though, because an ass monster, I mean, come on, dude, it's an ass monster. And the ending, I gave it a 5. So all that's just right down the middle because it looked nice. It was in a nice package. Everything else was terrible. I was probably way too generous, to be honest. There was
pretty generous.
I mean, yeah. In hindsight, I kind of wish I'd just been like 1 down the board. But there was only 4 kills in the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
But there was 4 severed limbs, one of which was a penis. So that's cool. There was 2 stabbings. There was 1 fight. And I gave wow. All right, cool. That's what's up.
Oh, sweet.
Naked girls everywhere. That's what I'm talking about.
The bots are here. They love Bad Milo.
Yeah, they do. They fucking love that shit. Anyways.
They love ass too.
They sure talking about ass monsters.
Sure do. That was wild, right? You've seen bots like that in a hot minute. I did a badass bonus at the very beginning of the movie because I didn't realize he was dreaming, and the doctor's face goes into his ass, and then Milo scrapes all the skin off his face. I started up, and I was like, "Oh, right, this is gonna be fun." And then 5 minutes later, I was like, "What?" So, he gets 5 points for being from 2013. You know, every decade back we get 5 points. That there was 4 people that I consider legends in this movie that gives it an extra 20 points. Peter Stormare, Patrick Warburton, Stephen Root, and Kumail. How do I say that guy's name? Nanjiani. Nanjiani. Anyhow, that's an extra 20 points for a very low and disappointing 145 points on this whole entire fucking movie. A movie about an ass monster should have double that at least. So I'm very disappointed. On recommendation scale 1 to 10, this might be the one and only time I ever say this. I gave it a 1. Don't watch this movie. Yeah, that's it. Don't watch this fucking terrible movie.
Yep,
bro.
Yeah, I was preparing to be like arguing about it. So
dude, you can't possibly think that
agreement.
I like even like this kind of movie.
I don't know. I was preparing myself too because I was like, how can you? I just could see you making the argument of like, how can you not like, you know, or how do you like Frankenhooker and not like have fun with this? And I'm like, it's not in the same.
You know, I would love to be able to say that, but they just didn't bring anything to the table. I mean, at least in Frankenhooker, we had like, I think, you know, I don't know, man. It was like I said earlier, it was just everything was cut short. Anything that had potential, didn't reach out and do what it was supposed to do, and I think that's where they lost it. And
agreed.
It is what it is, man. On to the next. We will move on from there. What else did you guys watch this week? Anything interesting?
Well, let's talk about Men, Chris.
Oh, y'all watched Men. Cool. Let me know about how much should I not watch this movie?
You should not watch this movie at all.
Really?
Talking about bad movies, I was pretty angry.
Really?
Yeah, quite.
I was getting a
quite
weird
upset.
feeling, but then y'all were convincing me because y'all were like, "No, man, look what else he's made." And I was like, "You know what? You're right." And I almost went and saw it. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, no, you should not watch it.
Yeah, you would hate it for sure.
Wow.
There's some cool stuff that they do.
Okay,
but it's definitely an A24 movie, so you're going to be off put by a lot of that stuff anyway.
So it's just kind of boring, or not boring. Let's slowly pace.
It's a slow burn, and for the most part of the movie, I mean, I think maybe me more so than Josh. Like I was kind of in, and I was okay with it. Okay, and then crazy shit starts happening at the end. I'm like, okay, like I'm still in, I guess. And then they just flopped the landing. Like the ending was terrible. It kind of just like blew out the whole movie. Yeah.
Honestly, to me, it felt like some woke bullshit.
That sucks.
Honestly, like the name is called Men. I knew it was gonna have some sort of statement.
I didn't even consider that.
It's exactly what you would think.
It's exactly what you think it is.
It's
men
like
are
toxic...
men are bad. Men are bad.
Written by a man.
I couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't believe her as like as artistic as it is, and as complex of films he's made in the past, for him to make something so like blatant and like just
did it seem like a virtue signaling type of thing for you?
It did for me.
Yeah.
Because in the end there's no like there's no ambiguity about it. It's not like posing a question. It's like making a statement. And it just like it's like, well, it's all about basically there's tons of like artistic metaphor in the movie. It's all metaphors.
Okay.
And it's, you know, symbolism and stuff, but it's
symbolism.
I know.
Can't help it.
I know. But all it is showing like basically men were born with these tendencies towards abuse, and every generation it's just a cycle of continuous abuse. But it doesn't show anything on the opposite side. It's just like all about how bad men are.
I was going to say, so no women has ever done anything bad in this movie, huh?
Right. There's only two. I mean, there's almost no people in the entire movie. There's only like 5 actors in the whole movie.
Because the one dude plays most of the men, huh?
Yeah. He plays every character once she gets to this house.
Okay.
But there is a subplot with her, the lady and her boyfriend. So that's like the only other man in the movie. Love to fuck. I do love to fuck.
Good grief.
They're in.
I'm in.
They
too.
are in.
Send me your number.
There's so many of them. I've already blocked 4. Oh my goodness, 5. I don't want to. It's distracting. Oh, I guess I can just full screen this.
Yeah, I was full screening it. I didn't even see it.
Nope, there we go. Full screen. Thank you. That's a good idea. Much better idea.
But
oh wow, that looks weird.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
No, I've never had it full screen before. It looks way different.
Yeah. Well, you usually got to pay attention to the chat. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that it's well made. Like, it's really pretty looking,
as I would expect it to be.
Yeah, and the acting is great. The main actress, I forget her name, is really good. The guy that plays all the men, Rory
Kinnear?
Yeah, Rory Kinnear. I think you're right. He's great. And he plays like 7 different people in the movie, and they're all distinctly different people. Like, I can't fault him at all. They did great jobs.
A lot of times that's the case. You'll get great acting and just horrible.
The story is just bad. It's really just. I was upset and just really disappointed.
I was genuinely hoping that y'all were going to tell me, dude, you need to go watch this. I really was. I was hoping that y'all were going to go, no, man, you were way off the mark, Randall. Go watch this movie. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed right now hearing that, because
I mean, I freaking love Alex Garland. Like, I love Ex Machina. It's one of my favorite movies. I know
Ex Machina might be my favorite sci-fi movie of all time.
It's like a perfect movie to me.
As far as straight sci-fi.
And we talked about Annihilation on here too. I think that's a really good movie. I don't think it's completely perfect, but it's like really, really interesting.
Visually, it sure is pretty.
Yeah. And then he did that limited series on Hulu, Devs, which I thought was awesome.
See, I didn't even know about that one at all.
Yeah, that was cool. I think that one got a little more mixed reviews. I don't think like everybody loved it, kind of like Ex Machina.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
I liked it too. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was great. That was the last thing he did, so I was really giving them the benefit of the doubt. I thought the trailer looked interesting, but I did think like Men. I was like, okay, I hope this isn't just I
had no idea why it was called that. I never even thought that at all, but
and that's exactly what it was.
It's the most on the nose title ever.
Yeah, really.
All right, would you rather watch that again or Bad Milo again?
Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Josh is over here being suspiciously quiet.
I mean, watching Men a second time, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. But watching it the first time, I was a little generous with my score. I gave it, I think, a 3 on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Because
wait, 3 out of what?
3 out of 5. So
Damn,
6 out of 10. I mean, depending on how you want to look at it.
I think I gave it 2 stars.
Yeah, because
you start talking about bad movies. 2 is a bad movie.
Yeah.
3, I don't think 3 is necessarily a bad movie. That's why I was asking. So 3 out of 5, because 3 out of 10 would be a bad movie.
Yeah. But nice. It's well made. It's beautifully shot. There's some cool, interesting things in it that I think would have landed a lot better if there was an actual point to some of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's unfortunate.
Like, I don't want to like trash it and say it's garbage, because it's not quite garbage, but the plot is pretty much garbage.
That's wild.
Yeah, there's interesting things in it but no, it's not good. It just feels like it. I don't know. Actually, I read something that said that he wrote this like 10 years ago and then just revisited the script to finish it.
Interesting.
But it felt like it was something that he just rushed. Like it felt like it was like an idea that wasn't fully formed. You know,
that's funny, because that also feels about how bad Milo was to me. Like, they didn't finish it all.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. The parallels you can have when you have just something that's not satisfying at all. It could have parallels with a movie that's the polar opposite of it, because these movies, I imagine, are literally the polar opposites of each other.
Yeah,
that's wild, man. That's unfortunate, dude. I like Alex Garland too, and I wish him nothing but success. But again, can't win them all, I guess. I don't know anybody that's got nothing but bangers except maybe Quentin Tarantino. I mean, how rare is it to have a director that's got nothing but bangers out there?
Yeah.
I mean, even Scorsese's got to have something that's not good, right? Like, I don't know if you might think it's not good or not, but something I wouldn't like.
You know, he's got a few that I'm like, I don't
lukewarm on.
Yeah, I don't love. Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's very rare to have somebody that's just got nothing but winners out there, and so I mean, even Tarantino has stuff like Planet Terror, Death Proof, excuse me. Death Proof, which I personally really like a lot and hold very high on my list of his stuff, but a lot of people would put that very bottom of his list. So I mean, you know, you gotta. It just sucks that it has to happen when he's just kind of getting going, man. I mean, 2 movies in, you kind of want him to have 3 or 4 or 5 before he has a stinker, you know?
Yeah.
But
well, he like didn't he like write 28 Days Later?
Yeah, he wrote 28 Days Later. He
I had
wrote,
no idea.
Sunshine.
Yeah,
no
Sunshine's
shit.
awesome.
What's Sunshine? I don't know what Sunshine is.
Sunshine is a great movie. We should do that on the show, actually.
You I bet you've probably seen Sunshine.
Me?
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi movie, but it turns into a horror movie at the end. Yeah. You would dig it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take your word for it. I trust y'all's opinion.
Who
2007?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Chris Evans is in it.
Nice.
There's a whole bunch of good actors in it.
Oh, Cillian Murphy's in it? Rose Byrne?
Yeah.
Rose Byrne. She's freaking gorgeous.
That movie's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Oh, man. Hiroyuki Sanada's in it.
Yeah.
That guy's crazy. He pops up in all kinds of shit.
Oh, yeah. He's really good.
He's one of my favorites, man. I like that guy a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So you haven't seen it?
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I guess if we start watching it, I might go, oh, yeah, I watched it sometime way back when, but I don't recall it.
I don't think it's streaming anywhere, but...
Yeah, because you've seen Moon, right?
The one with...
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell.
I absolutely love that movie.
It's kind of a little bit similar how, like, midway through the movie, it just...
takes a left turn.
It's more horror than what Moon turns into, but it definitely like takes a turn. And you're like, oh shit, like okay, we're in for something here.
That's cool, man. I mean, I'm always down to check out something like that, man.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of
it on the list,
week, but excuse me, man, I can't believe Men was that bad.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
I watched Neon Maniacs. That's one thing that I watched. I also watched. Carissa got to watch X with me finally.
Oh yeah,
cool. And I'm doing an actual like gore score movie review video for that movie. I think I talked about it a little bit on a video, but it was like a quick video. But I went and rewatched it. Did a gore score. It scored pretty well, and it's got some. I just more stuff that I discovered watching it at home instead of on the theater screen. Sometimes watching it in the theater is almost even distracting because I can't pay attention to like little bitty things. I can't pause it. Like at least last night I was able to go like pause, write something down, back to it. So like I was able to remember things because even when you don't read it, if you write something down, you'll remember it a little bit better. So that's what was happening is I was remembering things that I think ordinarily I wouldn't remember because I wasn't able to write them down. So I watched that, and then I've been watching The Sopranos. I finished The Wire, and I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch seasons 2 through 5 because I was also working while I was watching it. So I'm sure I missed enough to where it'll piss people off. So I want to go back and give it a slower watch. I just wanted to get through it, man. I was like, it was driving me nuts. It's all I could think about, and I was like, I gotta just get it over with. So I just ran right through the whole damn thing. I thought it was longer than it was, but I'm gonna do a much better second viewing and do a video on season 2 probably next week if I have the time.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Being as that I do this for a living, I'm able to watch a lot more stuff during the week than you guys are. So I watched a lot of shit this week. Plus, I wasn't feeling well. We had like this family stomach virus thing, man. It knocked all of us out, dude. All of us got it. Every one of us, dude. Charlie was first, then Bricken, then Parker, and then Chris. And I was the last one to get it. And fortunately, I wasn't like completely out of commission. I just didn't feel well all day, and I had stomach cramps. So I was basically sleeping all day. But everybody else was like completely out of commission. Couldn't do nothing. Couldn't go to school. Couldn't go to work. Nothing. It was awful.
That sucks,
dude. I don't know where it came from too. But I felt like we just had a bout of this shit like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it just seems like it keeps going around. So good. It was a little short one, and everybody got over it pretty quick.
Dude, yeah, it was like a 24, 36 hour thing, man. It was like real fast, but it was violent, man. It was, dude, Parker, bro, because he's a baby. He can't tell us anything. He just wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep, kept crying the whole time. I was like, oh my God, it was exhausting.
It was brutal,
dude. I would rather have just had it for an extra day than having that poor kid have it because he couldn't tell us anything.
Yeah, I hear horrible.
But I did get like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'll go like weeks and weeks and weeks without painting anything, and then I'll just jump back on the horse. and I'm back in the middle of one of those like creative fucking bumps, and I've got 2, maybe 3 of maybe my best paintings that I've ever done, man. I watched a bunch of like, I just call them class. Basically, it's like instructional videos, and I don't think I took anything verbatim, but I took a bunch of techniques and tried a bunch of different stuff in like 2 or 3 different paintings and mixed medium, and it came out pretty nice. I'm excited to show you guys. I'll send some pictures later.
Cool.
But,
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I watched. We talked about it a bunch. Well, y'all have talked about it a bunch. It's House That Jack Built. I finally watched that.
Oh, no shit.
Over the last couple of days, and
yeah.
man, I am surprised that I know you. I think I said it took you a couple of times to get all the way through it, but man, I was struggling to get through it. It was just so artsy, I guess, for lack of a better term. Just spent so much time just contemplating things,
very pretentious,
inner monologue,
very
and
pretentious.
It was one of the most pretentious movies I've ever seen.
But it still was more entertaining than Bad Milo.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I liked a lot of. Liked is a strong word, I guess, but I mean, the story was interesting, and just it got so just overdone. I felt the inner dialogue he was having with.
It did get a little bit old, didn't it?
But the end was cool. Like, I liked the end too. I thought that was really cool. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. And I was
really,
I maybe heard. I heard so much about it that like just the violence and all that stuff just kind of felt underwhelming. But
I like it more. The more I watch it, the more I like it.
Yeah, and I very well might. It might not bug me.
Yeah.
The length of it. Watching it again.
The length is the one thing about it that I have the biggest problem with, because that is a long ass movie for something that's not faster paced than it is.
Yeah, but I think just hearing about it so much, I was kind of expecting all this crazy stuff to happen, and it is crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I had heard enough that it was kind of spoiled, and it didn't really hit me as hard.
Yeah,
I think if I'd have just gone in blind.
Yeah, I watched it too. And I ended up really liking it, but yeah, it is extremely flawed.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not perfect. I let me check the chat real quick and see if anybody's talking to us besides hookers. Oh, nope, just hookers.
Nope, just hookers.
Dude, good grief, that's insane. But
yeah, it's got a lot of interesting things happening. A lot of like really, it's got some really depraved stuff. Some stuff.
Dude, there's a lot that I like about that movie.
Yeah, Matt Dillon.
There's a lot that I don't like about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Dude, he really is. That might be his best movie.
It's really, he does a really good job.
Definitely might be. Yeah. There's some weird stuff though in those in between sections. Like I thought it was interesting how they tie it up, because it's like ends up being that's the conversation they're having as they're walking through like Dante's Inferno at the end. Right. I was like, okay, that's cool. And it takes such a weird left turn. I was like, I kind of gave it a little bit, like appreciated it a little bit more once you get to the end of it.
Yeah. So I mean, but we all assume that he pretty much dies right there, and is going to hell.
That's sure what it felt like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I took it as just, his arrogance and trying to like get around that bridge at the end and falling into hell, essentially.
That's the thing. The whole movie is about ego. It's like all about his crazy ego, but it felt like the director talking about his own ego. And like the fact that the movie is 2.5 hours is kind of egomania. It's like showing that he's kind of got a big ego.
It's weird.
And like he's talking at one point, they're talking about like these masterpieces of art, and he's showing clips from his own.
Yes,
movies.
I noticed that.
How weird is that, bro? Like, I don't think I have the balls to do something like that.
That is completely egotistical. I was like, wow, that is insane.
Oh, that's funny.
But he's like commenting and criticizing it at the same time. So I was like, I mean, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like, yeah, no, it's not. It's definitely not perfect, but I was very interested in it the whole time.
Yeah. It's never not really boring. It is always pretty interesting, but it did feel like a chore to get through some of it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, there's a shitload of movies like that for me, though. There's a lot of movies where I'm watching them and I'm just like, yo, get to the... And they'll have like the peaks and valleys, but the valleys are a little longer and more strenuous than I would have imagined or liked.
Yeah.
But I've also changed, dude. If I think about it, the stuff that I watch now, while it still resembles the stuff I watched 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, but like before I met Chris, and definitely before I met you, Josh, the stuff that I watch now and then, like I said, still a lot of the same shit, but like there is so much stuff added to what I like. And then all the stuff that's on the far end of like quality that was like the worst of the worst has started to fall off and be stuff I'm no longer as interested in because I'm more interested in things on the other end of the spectrum now. Like it's like I only have this much stuff I can take in my brain, and it's just sliding down the scale like this. Instead of growing, it's just sliding down the scale. And I don't think I'm ever going to get to where I don't want to watch like B movies and stuff like Corman's Classics and things like that. Sure. But man, like stuff like Bad Milo, I think I'm probably done watching stuff like that. It's shocking how much I don't like that movie because
I'm honestly shocked that you're trashing it as much as you are.
Well, I'm pissed off because it's such a funny idea to somebody that has the sense of humor that I've got that they couldn't make this better than that, bro. We've got stuff like 40-Year-Old Virgin and what's the one of the kids going to McLovin?
Superbad.
Stuff like Superbad and 40-Year-Old Virgin and Talladega Nights, and you can't make this movie funnier than it was. Like, come on, man. That's where I'm pissed off because I have that sense of humor. I'm easy to please with that stuff, and you couldn't even do that. Like, it just shocks me that it was. I mean, the creature design is pretty hilarious looking. The idea of it's pretty funny if you're a kindergartner with your maturity level, but like that's it, bro. They got a couple of cool people in the movie and then they just swing and a miss. Like nothing ever picked up for it, and it bums me out, man. I don't like to trash movies unless I have to, but if I have to, I will. It's just like a musical artist. If I'm gonna shit on somebody, they're gonna earn it. So
yeah, I mean the only kudos I'll give it is the fact that they used a practical monster.
That's exactly the same thing that I was thinking when I was writing stuff down in the gore score. It was that the only reason that I'm not screaming and yelling is because
if that was a cheap CGI monster, I would have turned it off.
I think I would have too. Turned it off. Dude, you know how hard it is for me to turn a movie off? The only one I've ever actually turned off is Veronica. He's making a sequel to that. Bro, what? He's making a sequel to. I cannot wait.
If you make something so notorious, then you get to make a sequel for it.
I mean, they don't have the room to, do they?
That's true.
But like, whenever I read that, I had to like read it like 4 times to make sure I was reading it correctly. I was like, he's making a sequel to what? And I'm like reading it, and it's like to his previous 2 movies. And I was like, so I like looked it up. I was like, okay, he must have made something else I didn't know about. I went and Googled it. Nope, just those 2. I was like, son of a bitch. But the other one. His second movie, I do have interest in watching. It's called, let's see. What is his fucking name? Glenn Danzig. Dude, the guy's such a squat little turd.
Yeah.
Oh, Death Rider in the House of Vampires. I don't think it's going to be a good movie. I just can't imagine him making a good movie. But it looked like I watched the trailer to that next to the trailer of Veronica to just kind of get an idea of what maybe I was getting myself into. And it just looks like he probably had a considerable amount more money and definitely learned a lot. Because, I mean, look, Veronica was his first movie. So even though it was really bad, he probably learned a ton. I mean, go look at my first 50 videos. They're garbage. So, I mean, and then they get slightly less garbagey for the next 100. I mean, the first couple 100 videos were not good. So, I mean, but I do want to watch that one just because, who knows, dude, you may miss something cool if you don't watch it.
Yeah.
Although, that's what it was. It's got Devin Sawa in it. That's why I wanted to watch it.
Okay.
I was like, man, what was the reason? Oh, Danny Trejo's in it. Yeah, this could be fun. Eli Roth. Come on, dude. These are A-list actors, guys. Dude, Tasha Rain is in it. Ashley Wisdom. You know what those names are. Porno. These names are the same names that are over here giving us comments. It's those ladies. Those ladies.
Put me in your movie.
Yeah, Ty West.
Yeah.
Josh, it's your week to pick.
Yeah.
What are we watching this week, sir?
Let's watch Funny Games.
I literally just watched that.
Did you?
Yeah, I have I'm literally making a review video for it tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a score sheet.
Do you want to do something else then? I don't want to make you rewatch it if you just watched it.
Well, I have actual notes written on it, so I don't have to rewatch this one. I've seen this movie like a dozen times. I love that movie. Okay. I'll just watch a bunch of other shit too. We'll talk about it too.
Okay.
I want y'all to. Have y'all seen it yet?
No.
Yeah, I want y'all to watch it. So I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and postpone that video. That gives me time to work on a couple other videos, and I'll just do my video. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start doing short form, like 5 to 10 minute review videos for the movies that we cover on this, because some people just don't care about listening to us ramble and talk about other shit. Mm-hmm. So it'll double up on the content. It'll create more stuff for the channel, and I think it'll be good ultimately for the viewer. And so I'll just postpone that one for next weekend. It ain't no skin off my teeth, bro. That's wild. I thought you were talking shit. I thought you were joking.
How would I have known?
I don't know. I thought maybe I told you or something. I don't know. That's why I was kind of like, you didn't see my face. I was like, I didn't know. It was
I mean, it was kind of a silence for a second. I was like, is that okay?
I already like this movie. I guess I'm an asshole. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we are talking about the original, I assume.
I was going to watch the original because it's on HBO Max. But
okay.
They're the exact same movie. I would recommend the Eli Roth one if you can get a hold of it. If you can't, just watch the original because they're literally the same movie.
Okay.
It's like that movie, The Vanishing, but even more close. They're the exact same movie. Yeah. I don't. If I don't have to watch something with subtitles when I'm watching it with Carissa, I won't, because then it's easier for me. Especially if I'm trying to write down a gore score. I'm trying to read and do that.
Okay. Yeah, because the remake's in English, right?
Yeah, it's got Tim Roth and
Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts in it. Yeah. Actually, it's also got the kid from. God damn it.
He's in Boardwalk Empire, right?
Boardwalk Empire. Thank you. That kid's in it too. If you came from it completely blind and you had no idea who any of the actors were, I would say it's probably just whatever one you watch first. But knowing the people that are in the remake, I definitely think if you can watch the remake, you should. That being said, I do expect Josh to watch the original one, at least in addition to. So,
Yeah, kind of part of me wants to watch the original, but I do like the people that are in the remake. So.
I mean, they're the exact same movie. So if whatever one you watch, you're getting both of them, except one's not in English.
Isn't it the same director that remade his movie?
Yep. Yeah. This is more direct than The Vanishing was. The Vanishing's pretty accurate, like movie for movie. This one is this is probably the only movie I can think of that is same director and exact same movie that I can think of at all, because it is. I mean, even with the Psycho remake, it was different people that made it. You know, it was like frame for frame, sort of the same thing. But this is like, it's wild how exactly the same they are. I wonder if I haven't watched the original in quite some time. I don't remember if they're in the same house, like physical location or not. But whatever. I think you'll enjoy it either way. Watch whichever one you want, and if you have the time to watch both and you want to, go ahead. I think you're going to like the movie, and if you don't, I'd love to hear why. I think that it's a great movie.
Yeah, whichever one I pick, I'll maybe just try to throw on the other one.
Yeah.
Just at least maybe in the background or something while I'm working or something.
Well, it's definitely on my top 5 home invasion movies of all time.
Okay.
It may be like top 3, man. This movie is fucking good.
I've heard about this for 15 years. You know, I've heard about it for a long, long time.
Well, when I first watched it, I didn't know it was a remake. So I watched the original first. I've only seen the remake first. I've only seen the original like once or twice.
Yeah.
Maybe twice. Because back when I watched the original one, I've never had a problem with like watching movies with subtitles, but I used to not. Like now I kind of prefer to watch Korean film with Korean language and subtitles. Like I don't want anything dubbed about it. Back then, I was like, nah, if I can find one with it dubbed, I'll just take it dubbed and deal with the shitty voiceovers. But, so, I mean, that's probably why I haven't watched the original very much, because when I first discovered it, I wasn't really into that stuff.
Okay.
Okay,
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it.
Well, I think you'll both dig it, man. It's a cool movie. It's got a couple of interesting parts. The gore score is it's got a. I enjoyed watching it again, man. Carissa and I, as a matter of fact, Carissa was falling asleep because it was really late when we started watching it. I think we started it at like 10 p.m. And so she was like falling asleep. She's like, I think I'm trying to go to bed. And I was like, all right, it's almost over with. And she goes and brushes her teeth and like, gets ready for bed. Within like the 10 minutes that she was doing that, it like climaxes and she missed the best part and came back and she was like, credits were rolling. She goes, shit, it really was almost over. I was like, yeah, that's what I said. Like, I said it was almost over with. So I don't know if she'll want to rewatch it. Home invasion movies are not always the easiest to watch. So
yeah. It seems like it's going to be a little bit tough, but yeah, the original is on HBO Max.
Nice. Yeah, I might give the original a rewatch, man. I don't have a problem with that. It'd give me some time to rewatch it. I mean, because as far as I remember them, they're exactly the same. I won't be at all surprised if I watch the original again and go, oh shit, there are some differences. It's been a very long time since I've seen the original. I just remember them being like the same exact movie.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, dude, that's what's up. What's the plan for the weekend, fellas? Anything fun? Are y'all both coming tomorrow night or no?
I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
Let's see. What are we watching tomorrow? Is it Carpenter?
Yeah, his first movie.
That's wild. I've never even heard of this movie before.
Dark Star, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Hugh is going to come up and buy Dead Ringers from me tomorrow. He wants some Cronenberg VHS, and I got the sealed copy. So,
nice.
Yeah,
yeah. Speaking of, not to go back into movie talk, but I watched Existence.
Okay, how'd you like it?
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it more than I thought it was good.
Yes.
Like it's very
there's tons of stuff like that. That's a good way to put it. I liked it more than I thought it was good. Yeah, I like that.
I only gave it a 2.5 on Letterboxd, but I hearted it because
I love Jude Law. So
Cronenberg has made several like really interesting failures, and I'm like fascinated by them. I was like, it doesn't really work, but I really am interested in it.
Yeah, it was a fairly well received movie when it came out, right? It's got fairly good scores on everything, so I was like, I wasn't expecting it to necessarily be bad. But the dialogue is really bad. Like,
yes, I remember the dialogue being kind of clunky.
I kind of taking it as spoiler, of course, that at the end of the movie they're just all been in the video game the whole time.
Right, it's a simulation. A simulation.
But is the dialogue just the bad dialogue just a product of the video game? So it kind of gives it a pass on being bad. So yeah, there's a couple of ways.
I want to say no. Because they could easily fix that in a real movie.
The acting was really bad.
Was it though? Bad, or was it just not great?
In moments it was bad. And
really, I don't remember it that well, so I don't remember if it was...
Yeah, for the most part it was passable enough.
Well, I remember when I watched it, when I finally got around to watching it, I was actually pretty surprised at how much I did like it.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's just super weird.
I have a few movies that fit into that little subgenre of weird shit from the like late 90s, early 2000s, where it's like some weird sci-fi action thing, and they didn't really know what they were doing yet. Yeah, I've got a few, 4 or 5 of those movies that I kind of like all of them, to be honest.
Yeah. So, but it was still so interesting, though. So strange. Yeah, strange. Well, I don't know if I feel the same way about any other movie. Like it's bad, but still cool and awesome in a way.
So 2 quick things, and then I'll wrap this up and we can get out of here within the hour for a change. One, I am going to start doing giveaways again because I'm buying enough new stuff to where I'm getting digital codes and I'm starting to do reviews more often again. So anybody that's still watching this, I'm doing Ty West's X. I'm going to record that video either tonight or tomorrow. Actually, it's Thursday, so I have to do it tonight. I guess I just have to do it tonight. Or if I don't drop it tomorrow, it'll drop on Monday. But with that, I'm going to give away the digital code to a subscriber. So if anybody that hasn't seen it and wants to watch it and doesn't have cable or whatever service they need to have to watch it, there's an opportunity to get the digital code for free. And I'm going to do let's see, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly 9-part video series like ASAP starting this week. My whole movie collection. I'm going to go over the whole collection. Because after that, I'm going to go through and I'm thinning the entire collection out because I don't want to have more shelving and I'm buying more stuff. So it serves 2 purposes. I can thin my collection and put some inventory in the store. So When I get everything off the shelves that I'm going to sell, I will post it on YouTube in the community section and on Discord, Instagram, all that shit. Anybody that follows me can get a chance to kind of poke through and see what there is available. And if you want something, speak up. And we'll
after Chris and I get first dibs.
Yeah, I'm pretty much over. I'm coming over.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure I'll want a few things.
Yeah, I'm done with steelbooks at this point. I don't want them anymore. So I'm going to probably get rid of most of or all of my steelbooks. But I'm going to have to replace a few of these things because a few of them I only have on steelbook. And the only reason I'm getting rid of steelbooks is because if I have the money, I'd rather put my money into Arrow or Criterion. And that was my decision I had to make. Okay, do I want to go steelbooks or do I want to still support Arrow and Criterion? And those are important enough to me that that's what I've decided to do.
Yeah, and maybe you could sell the steelbook, buy a regular copy, and still pocket a little bit of money.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm doing with Batman. Those ones went quick. So
cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out. I appreciate it. Fellas, give me 1 second before we hang up. But we'll see you guys next week. We're going to watch Funny Games. You might get a little bit of talk about both versions. If you want to watch the movie with us, either one will probably work just fine. So, yeah, have a great weekend. Be careful out there and see you next week. Peace.
Cool.